You need a bogeyman. There has to be a bogeyman. But at the end of the day, who are you going to call? Well, it looks like the European governments are going to call you, private citizen, and put all the weight on your shoulders. In spite of the fact that there is no evidence of it happening, those people in Brussels decided to advise citizens in the EU to buy prepper kits. And we touched on this in a recent podcast. So, not to be outdone or missing out on a headline, the Daily Mail came out with a warning that Vladimir Putin was threatening to blow up pipelines and rip apart cables because Russian ships were passing through the North Sea. Something they have been doing since time immemorial. Only this time, as the last time, they were up to no good. Just as when the two ships collided the other week, it was remember that where they ended up in flames.
Yeah.
That was blamed on Putin. They said that he'd taken over the controls of the ship to make it ram the stationary second ship on purpose, until they discovered the captain was at fault. Or the fire at the substation, which knocked out the energy supply to Heathrow Airport, was obviously caused by Putin, because after all, he is a very bad man. Until it was found out that the substation fire was caused by years of neglect by whoever takes care of it. So Putin has to be blamed for something. But what? Trying to strike a deal with Ukraine? You see, in this article of the Daily Mail, it said that there was a spokesman from the British government from Number 10 talking to this reporter, and in the very last line of the article, it said that there was no warning from the UK government to make up a prep kit. It's something that the Daily Mail thought it was a good idea to put, you know. So back in Germany, from the Handelsblatt newspaper, Germany, the education department in Germany has decided to give classes to the kids about preparing for war. Who by? And based on what? I asked. Germany tried to make its mark against its old enemy. Don't forget it was Russia that sent the Nazis packing during the World War II and made them lose the war by stopping the importation of Russian natural gas. So Germany thought it clever to put an embargo on Russian gas. Talk about an own goal. So now their economy is shot because the energy costs because of the energy costs, and they need to blame somebody for this, except for themselves. So the Germans are hell bent on making their students neurotic, taking their experience at school home to their already economically battered parents. No wonder that the AfD party is now leading in their political polls. Looking for his daylight in the sunshine, the former head of MI6, which incidentally the Daily Mail said he was the leader of MI6, he is the ex-leader, suggested a new form of conscription in the UK, only this time not directly with the military, but a form of a dad's army home guard workforce to make people do certain jobs in pro of the UK, to keep the home fires burning, so to speak. Alex Younger is the bloke's name. There you go, Alex. You've got your name mentioned in the Steve and Mark Discuss podcast. There you are. I think in the current situation in the UK of citizens abusing the welfare system because they can get more staying at home than in a full-time job, he may just have bitten off a little bit more than he could chew. Good luck with your endeavour. There you go, man. There you go, Alex. So there it is. A lot of panic and wringing of hands being created by the weakest links in our world, claiming that a full-out European war will occur between the EU and its already depleted collective armed forces and Russia. It may happen one day, but I'm not too sure it will be Putin firing the first shot. He doesn't need to. The EU is doing it to itself. There you go. Chew on that one.
Well, okay, yeah. Well, something very serious you've made very, very comical. Brilliant, 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 mate. Hey, yeah. Okay, so let's get this right. So German school teachers are going to be instructing German children what the government want them to do. Yes, okay. That's, we've not seen that before in Germany, have we? Um, mind you, yeah, given that the UK are trying it in a different way with some weird social engineering as well. That's another thing. But I just think I'll mention it because it went through my mind just now. Um, yeah, okay, these prepper kits, 72 hours. As I said before, it's sensible to always have a torch ready in case of emergency. You can get wind up ones, just in case a fuse blows in your house or something. Yeah, I agree with that. Keep your refrigerator, try and keep your fridge and your freezer door shut. Yeah, it will hold for a few hours. Maybe everybody should be investing in diesel generators. That would be the
What I
ultimate
said
prepping, yeah.
when we mentioned it, I thought when we mentioned it in the other podcast,
Yeah,
when Brussels was giving this instruction out, I thought
yeah.
there might have been a politician who's got a company that does this sort of thing, that sells these prepper kits. You
Well,
know,
they're not difficult to make up yourself. I mean, I've been camping. It's basically a camping kit, if the truth be
that's right.
known.
Yeah, I used
I
to do this when I was a kid.
when I used to do camping, and we had a box already, more or less lived in the shed, and just grab it and out it would go on the back of it. You just make sure everything's in there, of course, and
Yeah.
simple. Um, they're not difficult. They're inexpensive to do. I mean, I've seen some incredible prices for them. I'm thinking, oh, could do it less than that. Yeah. Um, okay. I mean, the biggest problem will be for people to have heat. Just the biggest problem in the UK at the moment, anyway. Yeah. Yeah, because we don't have fires anymore, do we? We're all relying on gas and electric to heat ourselves. Um, my parents, we in 1960s house, my parents still had an open fireplace. They actually had a water boiler behind it as well. Funny enough,
Cool.
yeah. Um, Maybe that's the way to go. It's the ultimate preparation. Put a spit roast on it. Away you go. You can do your own cooking. Um, yeah, I mean, it's for some reason our Western leaders are wanting to scare us to death. Yeah. I can't think why.
I think
Um,
I think they want to keep the bogeyman
well, of course they
alive.
do. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, stop thief. Yeah. That. Yeah. We're incompetent, but we don't want you to notice. Um, I'm afraid they're about 2 decades, 3 decades too late for that. We are all so much more well informed now. I don't know why the Daily Mail. Well, the Daily Mail's a tabloid anyway. I mean, it wants sensational headlines. Yeah. Um, they wheel out these ex-government officials. Yeah, they're getting their pension. They give them a few quid to sit down with
Yeah.
them for an hour. Yeah, in a hotel lobby somewhere, probably. The guy's got his going to go and address or go and sit on his board somewhere or do something or meet someone. I know who could be meeting if he's in London. Yeah, just having a bit of a chin wag. Yeah. Um,
Have a little brainstorming session. What can we do?
well, to be quite honest, I mean, I think overall, even in Brazil, there's an acknowledgement that military or whatever intelligence has changed somewhat in the past 20 years. What it used to be, it's no longer really spy on the ground. Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah, I mean, all this thing now. I worked in the energy industry on a project where they had cables under the Welsh, the Irish Sea, not the Welsh Sea, the Irish. I'm getting a bit for Trumpism and changing names of seas now. Yeah, under the Irish Sea, um, And that was a risk. That was considered a risk. You know, what if somebody wanted to, yeah, cut these great big cables? That if you could actually find them. I mean, well, okay, we're not in Cold War. It still takes a lot to actually get down and start doing sabotage for cables. As any person, I was reading a report about it this past week. Yeah, just out of interest. This was the crazy thing about the supposedly cutting the old cables before. Very few people in the world had that kind of ability to do it. The US being the one amongst the one, probably. Yeah, if you understand what I'm saying there. Yeah, yeah. I don't think even the Chinese could do it. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I've not had a conversation with a Chinese intelligence person. But yeah, it requires a lot of things. I mean, you probably don't need to send a man down there. You could send a submersible, but what type of people with that type of equipment that is untrackable? Yeah. Um, all companies have them. Yeah, but it's an expensive piece of kit to have.
Expensive to repair.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, these things go down. You probably, I think you don't even need a person in them anymore. They operate from the top. But okay, that being that, um,
No, I
I
meant the cables. The cables are expensive to
oh
repair.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I know. When I was on our project where I was, we had a couple, one or two issues. I'm not going to go into because probably still bound by some agreement. Um, but yes, it is. They're not easy. Um, but yeah, we've got telecoms cables going everywhere under the sea and everything else. Yeah, there's probably even things, military things still. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, because maybe send something down, they just dredge it all. Probably be the most effective way. But again, I, I can't see it. I've not. I mean, like you say, it's all. I mean, we grew up in the Cold War in the 1980s, 60s to the 80s when I was born. You talk about being at school. We're always told to be prepared for a nuclear war at school. What were we taught at school? In the case of a nuclear strike, hide under the desk. Yeah, probably just for like kids.
I was never given that lesson at school.
Oh, we were.
Oof.
Yeah, my sister certainly was. Yeah,
I thought it was only in Japan they did that.
plus for earthquakes. No, this. I mean, we don't have many earthquakes in the UK. No, it was instruction. I think it's probably to persuade younger kids. Yeah,
Suppose they had to do something
yeah.
during
I mean,
lesson.
yeah, over it was on the media. I mean, even I'll take, don't forget the 70s and the 80s was the start of real mass media coming in. We've watched children's news programs with warnings about nuclear war and everything else. Yeah. The poor teachers had a lot to deal with when we go to school, convinced that, nuclear holocaust could happen. Um, I'm not buying it now. Um, as I said to someone, yeah, I had a client this morning talking about it, and I said, I'm not buying it. I think it's very unlikely that Russia will start a nuclear war. It would take a real crazy side to do it, a real crazy incompetent side to do it. Um, yeah. Do these people not realize what they're playing with? I mean, even in the height of the Cold War, there was always back channels operating. Yeah. I mean, the closest we probably came from the last decades was the Cuban Missile Crisis. And again, I think Russia were just pushing it a bit, and there are back channels then. Um, when probably President Kennedy's greatest achievement was probably preventing or actually having a stand down from all that. And there's a bit more of an agreement that the Russians agreed to step it down as well as the Americans. Yeah, both sides agreed to step it down because they realized just how far they'd pushed it. Pragmatism took over. And you're still talking with the Russians, okay, what's happening in Ukraine is happening, whatever they led up to it. But you're still talking about a pragmatic administration there to some extent, yeah? Aggressive, but pragmatic, yeah? You're not even talking like the 1930s, 40s German administration that was totally crazy. I'm not giving everyone a history lesson, yeah, but just make comparisons here. Um, yeah, I mean, I read it. I see these things flash up. I don't bother to read them anymore. You put go in more depth than I do. I saw the 72-hour kits. I think I read it from another news outlet that's used to be quite good, but is deteriorating a bit in my opinion as well. Yeah, with sensationalism in order to get the clicks up, because that's all we have. Yeah, I don't bother to watch video reports about it all because it's all the same now. This worry about this, worry about that, worry about this, worry
That's
about
right.
that.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, now we've got the new pandemic coming as well. We're all meant to be going on having our jabs again soon, apparently. Um,
Well,
yeah,
we'll see about that.
fascinating AIDA is what I say to that. Yeah. Oh no, Foxtrot Oscar. Sorry, not fascinating. Yeah, Foxtrot Oscar. Yeah, there you are to the security man. Um, it's a for some reason they want to keep us all on our toes. When I was a youngster, and I've told this to younger people, we grew up in the height of the Cold War, the 80s, yeah, where there was really the start, if you like, the real mega weapons, yeah. I can't remember being at school being overly interested in it. We were more interested when I was in a teenager and probably into 20s in pop music, yeah, the films, yeah, um, what was on TV, yeah, um, yeah, and obviously other things as well. I can't remember spending as much time worrying about politics um, and social problems like these youngsters do today. Yeah, so I'm talking about indoctrinating. Oh, sorry, talking to children in school, not indoctrinating. That's the wrong word. Um, you know, we found our own amusements. Arcades were just coming out. We had great time with computers coming out. Yeah, we had plenty of other diversions. We certainly didn't have, yeah, this all the time about worrying about this, worrying about that, and yeah, what this commentator is saying. Yeah, we watched an hour's news. If we had a problem, we might speak to our parents. Yeah, you give an opinion. Yeah, agree to them or not. If you didn't agree with them, you kept quiet about it as well. Yeah, you didn't get a conversation. But again, this is younger people. These are minds that have been sickened by so many facets in the authority and establishment now, and I see it. Yeah, and they're trying it on with all of us. They're trying to scare us, and it's like you say, against the bogeyman.
Yeah, I think more than they're trying to scare us, they're trying to scapegoat.
Yeah, I was getting to that.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, the stop
yeah,
thief. Yeah,
yeah.
it is Putin a nice guy? Absolutely
No.
not. He was in charge of the KGB on a list of people I'd like to invite to my Christmas dinner. He's not even in the top 1,000. Um,
Well, I'm surprised that he came close.
not that I'd decline a cup of tea in the Kremlin, of course. I'd quite be fascinated by going and visiting him there and seeing that. Yeah, not that I think it will happen.
You'd
Although
have
we'll,
to you'd have to speak to him by phone because the table's very long, and you're at one end and he's right at the other.
well, yeah, need the interpreter as well. Yes, yeah. Well, I understand he speaks some English actually, but he chooses not to because he likes to make life difficult. Um, yeah, it's a yeah. We are getting to Cold War status again. Keeping us all on our toes, keeping us all scared, dividing us all, keeping us all. Oh, you've got to obey what the government tell you, what your people in the establishment tell you. Yeah, they're even looking to cancel elections now, for Pete's sake. Not that it makes any difference whom you vote for now. It appears who you vote for. It's a propagandized war against the citizenship across Europe. It seems to have eased back a bit in the US a bit now. I can't think why. Can't think what's the driver there. I
Yeah.
really can't.
Something must have happened.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? Yeah. Um, yeah, across Europe. I mean, yeah, I read it across Europe and it's just like And all the time it's be aware of this, be scared of this. No, I'm not going to be scared of anything if you don't mind. Yeah. I'm going to be aggressive about a few things, mainly about the establishment. I don't mean aggressive in a physical sense. I mean, yeah, a bit aggressive in my attitude towards them, a bit robust, let's just say. Um, I think they know exactly what they're doing or trying to achieve. The fact that they're having to double down and ramp it up all the time means it's not achieving its desired goals. Yeah, we're not buying it this time. Like I said, anyone my age and your age lived through the scares about the Cold War before. It didn't happen. And our attitude is if it does happen, there ain't a lot we can do about it. Yeah. We're just going to go with them. Yeah. We're going to melt like everyone else. And that's what's at stake. I don't know, but I don't think the Russians want to commit mass suicide. I might be wrong, any more than anyone else does. Um, okay, espionage, does it go on? Of course it does. Is everyone
Yeah,
spying?
everybody's doing it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and
To say that Russia has got a spy ship in the North Sea
yeah, well, of course it has.
is like saying that that the British don't have a spy ship planted somewhere else, or
We got
that there aren't spies wandering around
you,
uh, downtown Moscow.
well, yeah, I know. Well, yeah, well, you pay people enough for ruples to turncoat, and they'll do it. Um, don't even need it. We've got spy satellites. You can even see them sometimes. If you've got a pair of binoculars, I've got an app on my phone that tells me where every known satellite is. So when I'm looking at and I'll suddenly see a strange one go over, what's that? It has to be a spy satellite, yeah? It's everywhere. It's an open game. We all know that even the probably even now the British and the Americans have been spying on each other for years. Yeah, they got caught out one day. The Americans got caught out over it one time. Of course we do. You know, um, it's yeah, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, but it is a we're living in a high tech world now. We're living in an information rich world that the politicians can't control. Yeah, like we've got a podcast. Um, unless the platform we're on decides to close us, there's not a lot the British government can do about us. Yeah, for doing this, for questioning them out, for calling them out. Yeah, I'm not expecting the Metropolitan Police to come and knock on my door anytime soon. Yeah, and it's not I'm hiding because I didn't make the rules. Yeah, yeah.
Somebody will stab us with an umbrella.
I don't know about you. I mean, when I look along the road here, I'm always watching out who's got what. You know, if I see someone with a long umbrella, I'm a little bit suspicious in Brazil. What the hell are they?
Wearing a black suit and tie,
Yeah,
you know that your days are numbered,
yeah.
and a bowler hat.
In this heat.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think this, yeah, sore thumb and stick out would come to mind. Yeah, I mean, even we can spot gringos at 50 meters away. You know, yeah, we try and avoid them as well. Yeah. Um, but yeah. So recap it all. Yeah, they're trying to scare the kids. Um, they're not placating the kids like we had. We got told, "Oh, don't worry, you know, you go under the desk and all that." They weren't going to tell you you're going to be vaporized. Now it seems to be a complete scare system. Um, if you want to know about it, there was a famous film that I think you can get online or clips of it called The Day After, which was an American film, and there was threats in the UK. If you want to see what the aftermath of a nuclear strike is, given it's far worse now, you're more likely to go now than then. Yeah, you're not going to know too much about it if you're right next to it. Um, and again, it's not lost on Putin. And Putin's the only one in recent history I know who's actually in Moscow actually run a nuclear strike drill to remind everyone, including outside, what it's all about. Yeah. Um, I mean, yeah, MAD, mutually agreed destruction. And anyone that doesn't understand that is a complete moron. So hang on. Who are we talking? Oh yeah, sorry, the Western leaders. Oh, sorry, I forgot.
And I thought that the Daily Mail was ramping it up a bit to making people worried.
Oh, come on, people. This, you know, I'm only putting your leg. Yeah, you, you're not going to see any mushroom clouds on the horizon anytime soon. Yeah.
I'm not here in Brazil anyway.
No, we just died seven
I'll
months.
just I'll just watch the really red sunsets as they take place.
Well, I was going to say we've probably got about 7 months on you guys. If only if we, I mean, if we have access to fresh water and get as far south as we can, and the wind blows in the right direction, we might be all right. Yeah. So,
Well, I'm coming towards the end anyway, so I don't really mind. You know, if it takes 10 years to kill me with nuclear waste, I'm probably gone way before then anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
well, yeah, I'd like to think, yeah, I'd like to think I'd go out on my own terms, but um, yeah, I mean, like you say, it's diversion tactics by Western leaders, by Western European leaders, who are complete, they are complete morons, to put it bluntly.
They're trying to cover their own backs
Yeah, yeah, they need.
because of the balls that they made with the Ukraine situation. I think.
Well, there was a lot more they led up. That they looked incompetent before the Ukraine. Ukraine has sort of really highlighted it now. Talk about ramping it up to the new level. Yeah, they're not on 8 on the dial now. They've been taken up to 9. Yeah. It. What can I tell you? Until we decide in Western Europe to get rid of our leaders and put some sensible people there, we're stuck with this nonsense.